I believe in mindset. It's that mindset that then matches. So you kind of vibe together. Your energy is similar. That matters more than all the other stuff.
So I'm here with Minesh Pore. I pronounced it right.
Yeah,
There's
pore.
no Pore. I
Yeah,
was gonna say, is it really?
yeah,
Oh no, I always thought it was Poor. We go back a little bit. We spent some time in Lisbon together, believe it or not. But Minesh, would you please give us a brief introduction to you?
sure. So I'm a first-time founder.
Hmm.
I've been a corporate expat guy for 20 something years and decided after selling the previous company to Blackstone that uh, the world is changing. I've been in the procurement industry all my life. I see there is a lot of changes happening in terms of retail, in terms of the industry itself, in terms of the kind of buyers that are there, in terms of the kind of suppliers that are there, and the kind of professionals that are available. So we wanted to solve the major issues in the up and coming industry. And by that, what I mean is we when we started 2020 January, we saw a big change in sourcing professional or the sourcing professionals' jobs. One, big retail was going down. We saw every big retailer cutting the costs and cutting people. We saw at the same time a big change in the type of retail that was growing. The e-commerce sellers, third-party sellers on Shopify, Magento, Walmart e-commerce, Amazon, that's the one that is kind of on a hockey stick growth, while the old school retail is all cutting from
Yeah.
H&M to Zara to Walmart, traditional Walmart, to Kmart and Sears and so many others in all over the world. It's changing. So the brick and mortar model was changing.
Hmm.
What that meant was we saw a rise of procurement professionals losing jobs or losing incomes. At the same time, the new kind of retail, the KOL sellers, the Amazon sellers, the Magento sellers, the Shopify sellers coming up, creating brands and becoming $1 million brands overnight, pretty
Hmm.
much. They don't have sourcing experience, but there's all these people losing jobs having sourcing experience. How can we match the skills on both sides? And that's what gave us the idea of BuyHive, which I created with my co-founders. And BuyHive, it's like an Uber for procurement.
Okay.
So you provide procurement professionals who are experts in that category in that region. So you gotta buy shoes in Vietnam, you got somebody who's buying shoes for Adidas or Nike or Reebok or Bata, whichever brand that you relate to, and that person is going to identify the suppliers for you.
Okay. So you have people that is it like a Uber experience for them? There's an app where you have experience sourcing in this realm. They can join. They can connect with buyers and such.
Yeah, so it's like a Fiverr.
A Fiverr.
It's like a combination of Fiverr and Uber,
Okay.
where you don't really communicate directly with the driver. You do it through the app. In this, you don't directly communicate with the sourcing expert, but you know what is his expertise.
Hmm.
So his expertise is how many years has she been sourcing? What products have they been sourcing? What buyers have they been sourcing for? Does it relate to what you want to do? So
Hmm.
let's say I'm going to make athletic wear, and the athletic wear is similar to Lululemon. Do I want a Lululemon person who has worked for Lululemon, source for Lululemon, buying or identifying suppliers for me?
Hmm.
And that's what we would give you.
Hmm.
Or tomorrow you go and do furniture, and furniture is similar to IKEA, and you want somebody who has been working for IKEA in that country to identify the suppliers because they already have insights,
Yes.
and that knowledge is not anywhere online. That knowledge is sitting in their brains because they're the ones going to the factories day in day out. They know what the capabilities are, the capacities are, how they treat, what the soft elements are, what the hard elements are.
Mm.
So they are the ones able to capture the data. And of course, we templated all of that to make it really easy for buyers to source.
Okay. And then it seems like in terms of user adoption, you have chicken and egg. How did you go about user adoption for all these individuals all in these countries?
So actually, the user adoption is not that difficult
Okay.
because they're losing jobs, losing incomes.
Yes.
So they need incomes. So going to the right job sites, with our experience, we knew where to go, how to find those guys, whether it is job related platforms, whether it is LinkedIn, how to find them, what are the keywords to find them. So we could get them easily. Today we have 5,000 plus sourcing experts in 20 countries. And we can easily, we are bootstrapped. If you're not bootstrapped and I had cash to burn, I could build to 50,000.
Wow. So you have been in sourcing your. How did you get into sourcing, by the way?
Um, just happened that after business school, ended up in a trading company in Taiwan, then Shanghai, then Hong Kong, then New York, then London, then Hong Kong and London, New York, managing Asia, managing Latin America, managing Eastern Europe. So learned the trade on the job as I built the businesses.
Is that something that you always wanted to do?
I never thought I would be doing
That's
sourcing.
when I was looking at your profile and I was like going through your history. I was like, how does one even like wind up just getting into?
Yeah, I'm a chemical engineer by degree. I did business, double business in two masters in business. So I had no idea that I'd be doing international trade this way. But I studied international trade, and that was the base where it was like, okay, trading is real international
Uh
business,
huh.
and that's how I got into sourcing and procurement.
Of all your educational experiences, and I think that this is something that's a little kind of relevant for the type of students that we have. You know, a lot of people always assume that they need more and more degrees or such and such. What was the most valuable for you, not only in building a business as an entrepreneur, but in sourcing or when your roles when you graduated? What was the most valuable educational experience you had that you could apply to that, or was all learning on the job?
It was always networking, knowing
Networking.
people.
Networking. So what do you attribute, what value, I'm sure they're very valuable, not underselling them. What value do you attribute to all these masters and degrees that you have?
Um, I mean, yeah, that builds, like a building,
Hmm.
right? You build the foundation.
Yes.
The degrees are the foundation.
Uh-huh.
But do you want to be super strong and build a 10 floor building, but that building, the foundation is strong enough to hold a Burj Khalifa? I feel for myself, I feel like I've build the foundation for a Burj Khalifa, and I know I only need a 10-floor building.
Okay, that's good. That's a good way to put it. That's a really good way to put it. But then networking is really interesting because not everyone's good at networking.
Yeah.
No, and then we do talk about, we're just starting to do these sort of sessions, but before we've talked to many founders and such, and everyone, we go about hard skills versus soft skills, and networking seems like one of those soft skills. You obviously know Levine, who's also a very good networker. Um, how did you develop these networking skills? Let's go into that.
Yes, the basis of the networking skills is not to look for a benefit for yourself.
Hmm.
Just seeing how I can connect. So, okay, I know what Lavine is doing, or I know what Steph is doing. Then, how do I connect Steph with somebody else that can benefit from what he's doing? And how can that be a win win? So, always keeping your minds open to provide, always creating an ecosystem.
Okay.
It's about creating that environment where people all grow because they're together with each other.
So you're always like, when you're out, you're thinking maybe, okay, who do I know that can help this person or such and
I mean,
such?
not even help. It's like, okay, so for example, you're in edutech. Maybe I went to a conference in Lisbon or in Doha or wherever, and I met somebody who was in that. I said, "Oh, dude, what you're doing, these guys have already done. Why don't you talk to them?" And a lot of people don't think that way.
Hmm.
It's really not there. Frankly speaking, people are, oh, I heard what Steph said, and I heard this ABC person said whatever. But then you got to think about, okay, Steph is doing this. This guy's trying to do this. Why not I connect them? Maybe jointly they can build better, or they can grow faster.
Okay.
And that's where it comes. And whether I was in corporate world, whether I'm in startup world, I always thought about what is the benefit for somebody by my connections, my network. How will they benefit? If I put Steph in connection with this person that I met, how will Steph benefit? How will that benefit? And then make an introduction.
Okay. So, this doesn't inherently come naturally to a lot of people. Maybe they're shy, maybe they're just not confident. I think one thing that Levine and I speak about a lot is the sense of self-worth.
Yeah.
And I think that's what holds a lot of people back from being good networkers, because they go into a situation, or they don't even go in, they completely avoid situations because they wonder, oh, what do I have to offer here? Uh, what sort of advice would you have or give someone in terms of the power of networking, how to improve those skills slowly over time?
So I kind of disagree with you. I don't think it is people don't know what it is, but
Okay.
more it is like, what is my benefit?
Yeah.
90% of the time, it's like, oh, what is my benefit?
Yes.
They do their business. I don't know anything about it. Why should I connect them? What's my benefit?
Yeah.
But that's the wrong thinking, because it's not always about your benefit. You are in a society. We are humans. We're
Mm.
not monkeys.
Mm.
So why not think about, if these guys benefit somewhere around the line, he will find somebody that will benefit you,
Okay.
right? And that's the thinking you have to instill.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it's when you're really a good networker or a connector, you're not thinking what is the immediate benefit for me. If today I introduce you to somebody and your business grew, maybe directly you'll never give me any money or nothing. A lot of people think, what is the percentage for me? If I introduce you to this guy, let me think about that 2%, 5%, 3%. Like
You do
that's
meet people like that, though.
that's what they do.
Yeah.
And I am totally against that. I'm
Mhm.
like, I introduce you to this person. That's now what you do is up to you. I can do the connection and leave it there,
Okay.
and then think about my other things and other benefits for other people.
Mhm.
That's where the real benefit comes from, because I've seen this over last 25 years. There have been people that I might have helped and I forgot about it, but then that guy remembers because for
Oh.
them it was important.
Yeah.
And then when I really, and okay, so I get stuck in a place and I was like, I never expected this person to come and help me. They've come and helped me, and I never wanted them to help me. I never thought about that their help. That's the real benefit of networking.
It could have been like a year or some months, and
And
somebody
completely
remembered you. So you
unrelated.
must be leaving a good impression on people if they remember you for that long.
It's just, there have been instances where people come to me 10 years later and say, you did this for me. And I was like,
Oh,
oh,
you did it for them.
y-
Okay, so that's you. That's like the impression that you leave up because you try your best to help people.
yes.
Once you meet them, that they come back to you. Because I can't remember the last time. Maybe I'm not leaving a good impression, but I can't remember somebody came back years later and was like, "Hey, remember we met at this thing, and there's this opportunity that came up." That like I feel like networking kind of falls flat sometimes, but you seem to be able to get the most out of it.
Yeah, I mean, and I went to a business school which was people from all over the
Mm-hmm.
world. And some of the people I may not see for 20 years, 10 years, but then I suddenly see them and say, dude, you have no idea. That one time I was stuck in Budapest and you introduced me to that guy, he fucking helped me out. It's like, oh, my family was having troubles,
Mm-hmm.
our passports were stolen, that kind of things. So, the people just remember, oh, you connected with that guy. You know everybody.
Okay. You don't. You always struck me as a very jovial, friendly guy, so that makes sense. This tracks your networking expertise. But no, it's really relevant and it's fantastic for a lot of the people that we hope to share these interviews with, because a lot of people are just very shy. That's something I think that. So you're getting involved with us maybe on a project. We'll get to that in a bit, and also the AI sort of things that you guys are working on. But I can't stress enough how important it is for people to develop those networking skills. And that's something that we started doing on Wednesday nights here. I don't know if you'll be joining us on our
I'll
Wednesday
be
night
joining. Yeah.
sessions. That's so cool. We do these AI sessions where people who are building on AI or looking for jobs in AI or just they're interested in learning more, they get together, they chat. We've had a few people that kind of show up sometimes, and you can just see how nervous they are, and they'll leave right away. And then you'll see some people hanging on the fringe of conversations, not sure where they belong or what they can contribute. So I guess your advice for them is just like go in, think about the person that you're.
No, because don't think about what you have, right? I
Mhm.
mean, if you keep thinking about what I have, then you're kind of controlling yourself. Just learn, just listen, just talk to people, just like have a conversation now. I mean, it might be that Steph is newly single and I might have a girlfriend to introduce him to. It's like, you know,
No, it's funny. Anyway, so you guys, BuyHive 2020, had no problem with adoption, and now you guys are looking to get into. Here it is. In the future, BuyHive will also use AI ML. Let's unpack this. What sort of tech are you guys getting into, if you don't mind sharing?
yeah. So what we're building is sourcinggpt.ai.
Mm-hmm.
Sourcinggpt.ai is basically a tool for anybody who's in procurement industry to solve all their problems such as comparing suppliers. You find suppliers on Alibaba, you find suppliers on Made in China, on Global Sources, on Trade India or India Mart, all these platforms. How do you compare them?
Mm-hmm.
You'll be lost. If you're looking at factories and across different platforms, you'll be really lost. There is nowhere where you can compare them. You'll spend hours and days doing that comparison and
Mm-hmm.
still getting lost. There is no way for you to compare quotations, right? You get 20 quotations a day. If you're sourcing this, let's say this tablet,
Mm-hmm.
and you're selling 20,000 tablets on Amazon, you're doing really well. And now you start looking for factories that can make that. How do you compare the suppliers?
Yeah.
That's very difficult. Um, Making contracts, making invoices, I got a supplier in China. I want to make a contract in China. I have a supplier in India. I have to make a different type of invoice or contract. How do you make those?
Yeah.
Are they legally bound there? How do you make it in Ch- English and Chinese, English and Turkish, English and Spanish? All those things can be done with the sourcing GPT.
Okay.
You want to give, uh, let's say you have bunch of different things that are lots and lots of different documents that came to you related to the factories. Just put it there. Let us analyze them for you, and then let us give you recommendations, AI-driven recommendations, which are not biased. Because what you find on platforms like Alibaba or Made in China or Global Search, advertising info, and it is just basically lots and lots of data, which is all beautified, or I call it sugar coated. How do you go unbiased? How do you analyze that data? How do you make sure that what you are going into or which supplier you're going to sleep with is really going to be a match for you? So for example, you are you are sourcing 500 units of that t-shirt. I'm sourcing 5,000 units. The factory that is curated for me cannot be the same that is curated for you. And I'm sourcing for Mexico and you're sourcing from US. Requirements completely different. The regulations are different, the requirements are different, the qualifications are different. How do I do that? People really get lost in that, because all you're getting on these platforms is lots and lots of beautified information. That's what we'll be able to break through.
Okay. So
And these are just some of the features. There's many others
that sounds like a really, I mean, I'm sure you guys have put thought into what that's pretty deep. So you have like an MVP carved out, I assume?
Yes, I mean, I have the document for the MVP, or I will call it the MFP, the minimal fundable product, carved out. And hopefully, maybe we hire some of your people to build the MFP.
I hope, and then thank you for not giving me making me shamelessly self-promote. We do, so for obviously our students, we try to connect them with individuals like yourself who have these ideas or obviously match and help such and such. So I do hope that we can work together on that, and maybe you'll find some gems. Speaking about that, just being cognizant of time as well, have you been involved in the tech hiring process? How involved are you in the tech side of things?
As a CEO, you're involved in everything.
Okay, so you're involved. How do you communicate with the tech team, and how does it differ from?
I don't think I communicate any differently with tech team than anybody else. It's basically showing them the vision, showing them the ideas, giving them the big picture, and then checking them on a day-to-day basis about what I really need, and writing it down as detailed as possible. So the one thing I discovered with the tech team, or working with the tech team, and which I never did before this, was that you have to be as detailed and as descriptive as possible for them to really visualize you. And I am no artist and I'm no tech guy, so all I can do is write my words, but go as detailed, as much information as I can provide them, examples as I can provide them, show them. So okay, let's say I'm building a ChatGPT like tool. What do I like in ChatGPT and equivalent tools? What do I like in the interface? What do I look like in the way it works? What are the things that can be adapted from there, and what I don't want from there? You have to be very clearly explicit.
Yes, like a good product manager.
I don't consider myself a product manager.
Yeah,
I have my
CEO.
Yeah, but I have a CEO that does that. But I personally try to get as detailed as possible, giving that information. So I was just talking to your guy earlier, and I was just telling him that I have it all written down. I have 6 features that I want, and in each feature, I know what the feature does. I know how it should be visually. I know how it should be creatively. I know what are the analytics behind it. But I write it down.
Okay.
So there's no like surprise.
Right.
And then of course there's a discussion. Oh, this can be done. This cannot be done. And this is easy to do. This is not easy to do. And we'll compromise on that.
Okay. And then I don't think you mentioned, do you have technical experience proper on your own? Never get your hands sort of.
I'm not a coder.
Not a coder.
I'm the only Indian that will not be a coder. So.
What's the extent of your technical experience? Do you deal
Zero.
with zero? Do you even do any data analytics? It's like
I mean, I can read data.
Yeah. Okay.
I can read data.
And you know
I
how to spec it out too, which is
Yes,
a very good
yes, I can
skill.
spec it out, but I cannot. It's like accounting. My accounting skills are about I can read the uh, P&L and I can tell you the problems with it, but I can't make the P&L.
What is your what? It could be soft or hard skill. What do you say? What do you think is your strongest skill?
Strongest skill is seeing what people are good at and
Uh,
not good at,
okay.
and what they have done, and how can that be improved. What do you need to tell them, right?
Uh,
It's about, like I said, initially write it down very clearly, and then when they don't do it to your, it's not about losing it on them. It's about trying to give them the direction or understanding what stage they are at. So for example, I'm the sourcing business. Most of my tech team have never done sourcing,
mm-hmm.
and sourcing is a non-sexy industry. It's not like e-commerce. E-commerce, everybody knows all the basics, right?
Look at
But
the travel
yeah, but
for
you,
sourcing.
you got to make them understand,
Yeah.
bring them to that page,
Uh-huh.
bring them to that
Right.
baseline,
Uh-huh.
and then go in and tell them, okay, this is why this doesn't work.
Right.
This is why this should be changed. This is, rather than saying, oh, it doesn't work.
Make them
But why?
spend a week trying to find vendors for a hypothetical product on
Yeah,
Alibaba.
or work like for me. I show them
Uh-huh.
this is how you find vendors on Alibaba. I'll do a demo, and this is how difficult it is. This is how
yeah.
difficult it is to compare the
Yeah.
suppliers on Alibaba and global sources.
It's a pain. It's a pain.
If
in the
you've
butt.
ever done any product, you'll know what is the pain,
Yeah.
and the pain is like it only increases as you go deeper.
Yes, it's almost like looking through stock photos for
Yes.
hours. There's something I call stock photo sickness when you're searching for the perfect photo, and like the uncanny effect of just searching, or even in Alibaba when you're going through page after page after page, and it just goes such a headache. So that's a good point.
So the stock photos, you're not going to lose money. Alibaba, you're going to lose fucking money.
Yeah.
A
Well,
lot of money.
stock photos. I mean, you pay for these licenses and stuff, but Alibaba is a risk.
Yeah,
and then
you buy 10,000, 20,000,
Yes.
100,000 worth of product which may not come.
Well, hopefully they send you samples.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother chat.
Yeah, the sample is on its own a whole gamification, man.
So, in terms of this, that sounds like you're a very good communicator. We always get into this. What do you look for in a hire?
So basically, we did very soft skills, and that's why I keep my screen on.
Yeah.
Is what we did even before we registered the company. Founders got together,
Mhm.
and we put down 7 characteristics that we look for in our staff.
Okay.
Whether it's IT staff, whether it's tech staff, whether it is marketing staff, whether it's finance staff, we want these characteristics. And these characteristics, I'll read it out to you.
Yes.
So the first one is we get shit done.
Okay. You use the S word?
Yes, we use that. So this is part of our values, and we measure people on that.
And you better cuss too. Yeah.
Yes, and I have no problem cussing. We get shit done.
Yeah.
Right. Second one is we are kind and helpful.
Okay.
We can cuss, but we can still be kind.
Yeah, of course.
Right. We are organized and process oriented, so follow the process.
Okay.
Set up a process, follow the process. We act with honesty and integrity, especially in international trade. When you're working with people, suppliers, etc., be honest.
Yeah.
If something is a problem, tell it in advance. People understand. When you tell them too late or you don't tell them and the product reaches there with problems, that's when you get issues.
Okay.
And integrity is very important.
Mhm.
We have got to be team players.
Okay.
So whether you're a tech player, a tech team, or you're a marketing team, you know, play as a team with others. So that's important for us.
Yes.
And thinking out of the box.
Okay.
We think out of the box. Because all the problems that we are going to face are always going to be solved with something which is not traditional.
Mhm.
Because otherwise we'll fall in the same route of Alibaba and all these others that are doing the same thing for years.
Mhm.
You know, to me, Alibaba is not innovated for 20 years.
Mhm.
Alibaba International is not innovated for 20 years. Global Source is not innovated for 50 years. Trade India, IndiaMart, all these platforms have never innovated. And then last of them is we're not Debbie Downers.
Okay.
Again, very important. Do you know Debbie Downers, right?
Yeah, of course. No
So you know the
moping
show,
and-
Debbie. Yeah. You don't want to be sad. You don't want to be unhappy. Go out, have fun. don't stop drinking and smoking. Whatever you're doing, have fun.
How have these values affected your talent seeking process or hiring process, as opposed to, everyone always assumes, well, it's time to look for a job. I got to go on LinkedIn and click apply. How have these values affected your hiring process or talent seeking process?
So you know the kind of people that I gathered in the team are people that I don't have to fire.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
except like financial issues,
Yeah.
right? Not because of their performance issues.
Mhm.
Because I'm not measuring them on, oh, how much sales do you bring? How much leads do you? You follow these values. These are the values, and I measure you on that. And then the other things will be there, and we'll measure those things, and we'll
Mhm.
talk about it on a daily basis and stuff. So what happens is like-minded people get together.
Mhm.
They all have the same thinking. And when we came up with the values, we went through 50 different values that we wrote down, and we funneled down 35, and then 25, and then 15, and then finally 7. We say,
Mhm.
okay, 7 is more than enough. But what these 7 have do is that those people are similar mindset.
Mhm.
I believe in mindset.
Yeah.
It's that mindset that then matches. So you kind of vibe together. Your energy is similar. That matters more than all the other stuff.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. I mean, that's usually uplifting, which it's funny because when I talk to people like you or whomever else through the years with Xccelerate, and we were doing research for our job board at one point, and we were asking founders and CEOs and even some HR people, what do you look for in a hire? And they always say, and I say this all the time, I better not wind up saying this every episode because it will get redundant, but they always say it's culture fit and mindset. But then you have all these hundreds of thousands or millions of people that go online or Reddit or come to us and say, I can't find a job, I can't get hired, I'm putting my CV out there, I'm not getting any bites. It seems like they have difficulty finding people like you or figuring out the right angle to take to like get your attention to be like, look, I might not have XYZ experience, but
Go through our website, find out what our values are. It's all there on the website, and then when you apply, remember those.
so that's the advice that I was going to ask you. What advice would you give to somebody who was interested in working with you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we not need the basic skills, right? Okay, I'm hiring a programmer of AI. I'm not going to hire somebody who doesn't have an AI knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, think of the values that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Are you, what kind of person are you? Are you a team player? I want a team player. So if you're not, you're a lone wolf, then I'm sorry, you're not a fit for me. You're good. You're very good. You're a high tech, super smart guy, but I can't hire you. Or you're like always a sad person. You're like super tech, and you're like Elon Musk being a Debbie Downer all the time. Then I don't want you.
But being like Elon Musk,
Yeah,
so
it's a Debbie Downer.
you know what? It's good to hear someone not simp for Elon Musk. I personally have my opinions, but I am glad that people are starting to see the
Yeah,
real him. You know, maybe one day he'll be on this fast growing show.
yeah, he's a sadist, right? So,
Anyway. So good. So we like to give people like hacks. You know, we have these conversations, and part of it's learning what you're doing and sharing that and learning about the technology. But also part of it is to show people that, you know, for our value proposition, Accelerate is, you know, you want to learn these skills, but then you want to apply them, and then people get stuck at this threshold or like, I can't get the job. So we want to have individuals like yourself tell them like this is what you can do differently, thinking
yeah,
outside the box. So that's refreshing to hear, and I'm sure that, you know, you're the type of person that wouldn't mind if somebody has the right energy or approach reaching out to you. Not endorsing people to go
yeah,
and connect with you, but some people are like, you know what, if you have what it takes to message me and you can capture my attention,
yeah,
that's good. And a
yeah,
lot of people don't think about that kind of stuff.
yeah. And especially techies don't think about it.
No, they,
They,
they don't.
they only think about, oh, I'm very good at coding, so I'll tell you about all my coding. I don't really care.
Just
I
like,
know in your resume you've done it, and you've
yes,
learned at Xccelerate. I know they taught you that.
they're just as bad as the people that wonder what's in it for me at
Yeah.
networking. Um, what what are we looking at in the next? You have this beautiful project. I think it's cool as someone that has used Alibaba before. Um, are you guys as in the next how many years do you envision yourself being an AI hub?
I don't know the answer to that because technology is changing really
Yeah.
fast. If I said, oh, I'll be doing it in 6 months or 6 years or
Mm-hmm.
5 years, it's all bullshit because I really don't know and nobody can tell.
Mm-hmm.
What I believe is we want to build on what's already done, not reinvent the wheel.
Right.
Use what is already done,
Yes.
maybe through an API interface or whatever that may be, but build something that's actually solving issues.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Think of what are the issues, solve them using the technology that is there, the base that is there. Like when internet was discovered or internet came into being, people started, I'm an internet company, but what problem are you solving?
Mm-hmm.
I'm an AI company. What problem was I? I'm a crypto company. I'm a blockchain company. These are all very nice jargons. I don't want to I don't want to be called an AI company.
Mhm.
I'm solving the sourcing industry. I'm a sourcing company.
Okay.
We're using AI as a base.
Yes. Beautiful. And what is that? Did you give? I don't think you gave me the tagline.
Sourcing made easy.
Sourcing made easy. Beautiful. And I was curious. I meant to ask earlier, when you guys started, was there anyone else that was doing it like this? The Uber of sourcing?
No, we're the first and the only ones.
Why do you think that is?
Um, I don't know, but maybe it's not sexy. And we're in a world which is all about, like I said, people like to do everything. I'm an AI company. You're doing nothing in AI. You're just calling yourself a Web3 company or AI company because everybody else likes it. That's what I don't like.
Yeah. Perfect. What are some future trends or opportunities that are on your radar? Could be related to what you're doing or something that just personally interests you.
I mean, the most important thing is today I'm talking about 6 features or 7 features. There's so many other features in procurement,
Mhm.
from QA, QC to online assessments and online documentation
Yeah.
and all that, and the analytics of all that
Yeah.
that you can do
Uh-huh.
with the AI tools
Yeah.
and the data that you capture. So at the end of the day, I'm becoming data, compiling all this data, right?
Yes.
All the data comes in, the analytics you can do with it and the use of it for
Mhm.
solving problems is what is going to be the beauty of it,
Okay.
right? I'm not trying to build the next Alibaba. I'm not trying to build the next India Mart or any of these platforms. Trying to build something that doesn't need those platforms. That platforms become redundant
Mhm.
because you don't need them.
Mhm.
You can take some data from that, put it in the backend, and there's so much more data from the trade department, from other platforms, and so on and so forth that you can use. But how do you analyze that data and then analyze data, that clean data,
Mhm.
which has got analytics in it, which has got intelligence in it? What can you do with that intelligence?
Okay.
How can you improve your profitability? How can you improve your efficiency? How can you save costs?
Mhm.
That's the future.
Okay. It's beautiful. And are you hiring for roles around this right now at the time of
mean,
this recording?
At this time, I just talked to your team, and basically, trying to hire somebody who will help me build an MFP on the stuff that I built.
So if you listen or when we distribute this and they hear it within a few weeks, get in touch with you. There's a lot of really cool things going on. I think it's sexy. I don't know much about the industry. If you said it's not sexy, I think it's sexy.
No, I mean, the industry is generally not
Yeah.
considered sexy, but it is sexy because it makes money.
Yeah. All right. Final bit here. Any call to action? Anything that you want people to know, or something that excites you? Your call to action. Anything off the top of the head?
The call to action is, like, I'm trying to solve a problem in my industry with
Mhm.
the new tools that are available.
Mhm.
Instead of thinking of yourself as, oh, I'm going to join an AI company, I'm going to build an AI company, or I'm going to build a blockchain company, whatever your thing is. Don't think of that. Think of the problem. And how are you using these technologies to solve that problem?
Yes.
Use the technology, but don't make yourself bound to that technology.
Mm.
It's a base on which you will build. It's not what you will build. It's already built. Somebody has built it.
Yes.
You're not going to reinvent the wheel.
Yes.
You see how you can scale on that.
It's like the Burj Khalifa reference.
Yes.
You have the way you structure your thoughts is very good, my friend.
Thank
This has
you.
been a lovely conversation. I hope that we get to bump into each other at Lisbon or somewhere else around the world. That was fun. We had sushi together.
Yeah. In Lisbon.
Yes, we did. That's what I meant. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did. Thank you so much, Minesh. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.